I've been waiting for about 3 months to make this video because at the start of the year I dropped one of my cameras, the Lumix S5. You might have seen the video about it. If you haven't, I will link it down below there so you can go and check it out. But watch this video first because I've got that camera back so I can make this video now, and we're going to talk about what is in my camera bag for 2023. You obviously already knew that because you clicked on the video having seen the title. It's changed a lot since the last time I did this because I've changed camera brands. I'm not going to go into that either, but let's get straight into it. This is the camera bag that I use. This is the Peter McKinnon Nomadic everyday bag, or if you're in Europe, Go-matic, because Nomadic now no longer trade in Europe, so it's all called Go-matic. But I love this bag. I do have the other Peter McKinnon bag as well, the bigger one, which is brilliant, but I use this on a day-to-day basis just because it's smaller and lighter. It still wears very, very well. It is very durable. It's waterproof, I think. I've not tested it, but I believe it is. It's got two little pouches on the side so you can store a water bottle. I've got a clip on the side so I can put on a tripod if I want and store the legs in there. In this one, I use this to store my new Mantis pod, which I'm going to make a video about this because PGY Tech just sent me this week to make a video about, so thank you very much to PGY Tech. I've seen people use this before, but first impressions, this thing's great and it's much better, much sturdier than a GorillaPod, which I'm used to using, and it does also have a little flip out thing here so you can hang it off things like doors and fences and get different angles. Let's go straight into the bag itself. In fact, no, we won't go into the bag itself because one thing I use on the outside of the bag is one of my favourite accessories because it has just changed the way I go out and shoot. Is it easier if I put the bag on this side? This little accessory here that I have on the strap, which is the Peak Design carry clip, and that is game changing when you're out shooting because, for example, if you're on a hike, you're more than likely gonna have your camera in your bag. You see a shot you want to get, the last thing you want to do is, because it takes so long, take your backpack off your bag, unzip the camera compartment, pull out your camera, take your shot, and then stick it back in your bag to carry on walking up a mountain. Takes a long time and you end up missing shots because of that, because you end up being lazy and not getting your camera out. This changes that because you can clip it onto your camera bag strap and it is accessible all of the time. I love this little thing and I would highly recommend getting one. I think they cost about 50 quid, but very, very useful. So it is actually a little bit empty at the moment because I'm using a little bit of gear, which I will talk about there and there. So usually in this compartment here I would have the camera that I'm using right now, and that is the Lumix S5 II. So last time I made one of these videos I was shooting exclusively with Sony gear. That has since changed since the Lumix S5 II came out, and the original S5, because I switched to the S5 just before the S5 II came out, but I now have the S5 and the S5 II. The S5 II sits here usually with a lens on it, which is usually the 20-60 kit lens, which I am using right now to film this video. Sat above the Lumix S5 II in the bag, I have in this little space the original Lumix S5, and this is the one that I dropped off my tripod and had to get the screen replaced, and it was away for repair for nearly 3 months. Very happy to have it back. It does have a little bit of a battle wound just about there, considering that's the only damage, considering I dropped it from about 6 feet onto a rock. I'm quite relieved about that, but yeah, I love this camera. I use them at the same time. Typically, if I'm out and about, I'll use one for photo, one for video, or I'll set the S5 up as like a second camera angle so I can cut between the two. The lenses I use sit down here in the camera bag, and these are Lumix S Primes. So as I mentioned, I'm using the 20-60mm kit lens at the moment, and I also have the 85mm S Prime and the 50mm Lumix S Prime, and these are great lenses. They're much cheaper than a lot of the competitors. The same with the actual Lumix cameras as well, to be fair, and switching to Lumix is one of the best things I've done for my videos, and I just love using their gear. It is so easy to use and it looks great. Right, where do we go next? Drone. I am still rocking the DJI Mini 2. I've not upgraded to the Mini 3 Pro or anything like that, one of the bigger drones like the Mavic 3 Cine, simply because I don't fly drones enough. I love drone footage, but I don't do it enough. And this allows me to just carry it around, and whenever I need to, it's quick and simple to get up and still gets decent footage from it. I also have some spare batteries in this little carry compartment as well that allows you to charge your phone as well, which is great. The Mini 2 is still a great drone even now, and I think it just goes to show that you don't need to upgrade all of your gear all of the time. Like for me this year, upgrading my main cameras has been more of a priority than upgrading my drone. Some filters. Now these are brilliant. These were very kindly sent to me from Nissi, and I made a video about these a few months ago, and what they do is it's effectively like a quick release filter system. So you screw on one filter and then the other ones pop on top of each other. So we have a 1 to 5, is that one? Yeah, a 1 to 5 stop variable ND, but then you also have a solid 4 stop ND filter, which is the 6 to 9 stop filter. And what that does is it sits on top of your variable ND, and then you can still use the variable to twist and change your ND density, but it is changing it 6 to 9 stops. So that's very clever. It also comes with a mist filter, and this is very useful. I am actually using a mist filter on the camera right now, and this just helps to soften the image, because a digital image nowadays is so sharp, and while it does look incredible, it's nice just to soften it up a little bit, and it'll give you like a nice little bloom around the highlights. If I show that light just there, you can see it's got a nice little bloom around it, and it just softens skin tones as well, and it just helps it look a little bit more, I'm not going to say it, cinematic. It's a horrible word, but it's true. It just gives it that little bit more of a filmic feel. I carry them all of the time with me, along with some step rings. Now these are a very cheap and affordable way to be able to fit all of your filters onto any lens. So these are always very useful to have, because it just allows you to have one filter and you can use that on all your lenses instead of buying different filters to fit different lenses. That is most of the gear I carry around with me. I also have an empty pouch there. What usually goes there? I can't remember. I don't know, I'll find it after. So these little zip pockets here I just use for storing little fidgety accessory bits like cables and SSDs. Now I have a bunch of these SSDs because they are so useful. I always use these to edit from and back up footage straight away before I back it up onto a bigger hard drive that I don't really do anything from, apart from store footage on. If you are into video editing, which get a good quality fast SSD to edit from, it will save you a lot of time and money in the long run. They are expensive, but very worth it. And then in here, in this little pouch that you can access from here via magnets, or you can access it from the top, I again just keep little accessory bits. So I have the Peter McKinnon SD card holder pouch, the Peter McKinnon battery pouch for all of my Lumix S5, S5 II batteries. A nice little tip, put a little sticker on one end and then you can pop that in your pouch upside down with the sticker pointing up, and then you know that that battery is dead. And I've also got a laptop charger for my MacBook Pro 14-inch, which sits in this little laptop compartment on the back of the bag. I have made loads of videos about this 14-inch MacBook Pro because I absolutely love it. This is my favorite computer I've ever used. It is the base model of the 14-inch MacBook Pro. With the M1, I think they have come out and updated it to M2 now. This does all of my video editing, all of my photo editing. I do all of my work on here. I do all of my YouTube stuff on here, and I've absolutely hammered it. It still works perfectly, and I think it will for a very long time, to be honest. That is everything I use on a day-to-day basis now. I've not mentioned my microphone, which is up here. This is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. That usually sits in the top compartment as well. There is other bits of gear that I use, but typically I don't carry it around with me, it stays in here. I'll link all of the things in the description below so you can go and check them out. Let me know what you use, what camera bags you use, what gear you use. I'm always interested in talking gear because I'm obsessed with it. There is one other bit of gear that I'm very tempted to get. I'm not quite sure yet though, and that is the Sigma 100 to 400mm f5 to f6.3. That's because I want to shoot a lot of sports this year, as I mentioned in my previous video, and a lot more wildlife as well. I love shooting wildlife, so that is something I want to get into, and I think that lens might help me to do it. So if anyone has any reviews or thoughts about that lens, drop them in the comments below, because I'm very, very tempted to hit the order button, even though I should probably just stop buying gear, because no, why would I do that? Gear's fun. Right, I'm gonna stop talking. I'll see you in the next video. This might be one of the last videos I make in this space, by the way. I'm moving house in a few weeks, so there'll be yet another YouTube studio on this channel. I'll have a completely new space in a few weeks, which is exciting. So yeah, that's it for this video though. I'll see you in the next one. My hair is just like, whoa, I don't know what's going on with it. It's getting very, very long. How long should it go? How long shall it go? How long shall... I make myself giggle.